It's time to get serious. It's time for Radio X. Radio X with your host, Jimmy X.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Radio X. I'm your guest host today, Popeye from FederalJack.com, sitting in for Jimmy X. He had some personal stuff to attend to today. And I have a jam-packed show for you, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get into the news, some of the stuff that I've seen the past couple days that has been bothering me, and I think it warrants discussion. Something really quick I think you all might find interesting. About a month ago now, a little over 28 days, but I'll get into that explanation in a minute. About a month ago, Joe Pa, Mr. Penn State, announced he had cancer. Right in the middle of this whole Penn State scandal and everything else, comes out all of a sudden, Paterno has cancer. Those of you familiar with my research into the weaponized cancer that our government created almost 50 years ago now, and actually a little over 50 years ago, I said during this time when Paterno got cancer that it was very odd that suddenly he developed cancer. And it was lung cancer, which, again, if you go back and look at the research I've brought forward about that, and people I've interviewed on the cancer as a bioweapon subject, you'll see that it takes about 28 days with the weapon that Judith Baker, Lee Harvey Oswald's girlfriend, had helped to work on. It would take 28 days to kill somebody. And when Joe Pa got sick, what did I say? I came on air and I said on my show and on a couple other shows that if he died within like a month, it would be shady because suddenly he gets cancer and drops dead. And I think Paterno knew things that they didn't want out. And I think they gave him a weaponized form of cancer and killed him. Now, that's just my personal theory on it, but why do I say that? Well, Joe Paterno died this morning. Actually, I think he died last night, and the doctors just didn't say anything until this morning. That's from what I've seen. But, yeah, Paterno died, and about a month ago, I came on air and said that if Joe Paterno dies suddenly of cancer, I think he knew too much, and they got rid of him. Now, it was just something in the back of my head that had popped up because they had said he had cancer, and everybody was like, Popeye, it takes months. He'll be around for months. He just got diagnosed with lung cancer. My mother died of lung cancer, and it took longer for her to die than it did for Paterno. It took her a lot longer to die. She had it for about a year before she died. Like, she already had it in the past, but it was gone. The portion of her lung had been removed. And now all of a sudden, it comes back and it kills her, and it took a year to do that. Paterno gets diagnosed in a month, and he's dead. And nobody finds that shady. Even the Associated Press ran a video about Paterno, little thing, Joe Paterno died, blah, 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 blah. And they interviewed a bunch of idiots that were, hovering around his statue over at Penn State and praying to it. But Paterno knew too much. Okay? Anyway, Associated Press was getting into it, and in the description, if you read the description, they call it a fast-acting cancer, which surprised everybody. So, just a thought, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, Joe Pa knew too much, knew where the bodies were buried, and he had to go. It's the way I look at it. I could be wrong. Maybe he just got some super fast-acting form of cancer that nobody's ever heard of except in the bioweapons field. We'll be right back. We're back, ladies and gentlemen, with Radio X. It is January 22nd, 2012. This is another live edition of Radio X. I'm your guest host, Popeye, from FederalJack.com. I also have my own radio show over on the Orion Talk Radio Network called Down the Rabbit Hole. You can tune in on 5 to 7 on Sundays, and during the week, Wednesdays and Friday nights, 10 to 12. I'm joined by my good friend, Mr. JJ Inc., another host over on Orion, and he's a regular guest here on Oracle. And JJ, last segment I was talking about Paterno's death, and you might remember.
He died today.
Yeah, you might remember. You and I have.
I turned on ESPN this morning. They were talking about he was gravely ill, and then I turned it on a couple hours ago and said he was dead.
Yeah, last night they were saying that he was on death's door, and then they said that he died this morning. But apparently, research has come out that, or information I should say, has come out that he died last night, and the doctors didn't tell anybody until today, or something like that. So maybe that's where the original story last night, in the early hours, that he had died already leaked out. But yeah, he's dead now. So for anybody that's not sure, who
cares? Joe Paterno, big deal. He was a freaking head coach of a college. They act like he was this god.
Well, the idiots over in
what is that? So much for everybody, everywhere. He ain't done nothing for
What is that called over there, Joe?
A college coach.
Happy Valley, Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
they all live in their own little world outside.
He's probably done some nice things for a few individuals here and there and donated some of his money here and there. But what has he ever done, really? Come on.
It's not even that.
Be treated like he was a god. Do
you remember a year ago or about a month ago, JJ? Do you remember about a month ago when I said on air that if he dies within a month, when he first announced that he had cancer, I said if he's dead within a month, it's shady because he suddenly gets cancer out of nowhere and then drops dead within a month's time. And look what happened.
Yeah, nobody talks about the guys that have been, victimized and abused sexually. It's now Joe Paterno died. Poor guy. The world will miss you, Joe. Not that I'm glad that a guy dies or anything like that. Absolutely not. But come on, man. Really? They're probably going to have a day of mourning in Pennsylvania. They'll shut down governmental agencies in that town, I'm sure.
Well, if you go look at there's AP news footage, because now he's officially dead. So now all the ABC, everybody is, oh my God, Paterno died. And the Associated Press was out in front of the college, and there's morons standing out around his statue. And there's people that are like, well, I know what happened, but that, maybe what happened was bad, but, Joe's a great guy and he'll live on forever. We have his statue, and it's just disgusting idol worship.
I know.
He's a football coach. The guy's not a freaking rocket scientist. He didn't save millions of people. He's a football coach. You know what I mean, JJ?
Man. I'm sure he is a hero to the few people that he's actually, helped, but to the world at large, no. He's a football coach, dude. Not you, obviously. You know that, but
no, I know. It's just it's amazing who we put up on pedestals.
Yeah,
and who we don't. 100 years ago, people that were philosophers and stuff that's who I wish I could be like. I wish I could be like this guy, or a great researcher, or somebody from the past, one of the founders, or Washington or Jefferson or somebody. Now everybody wants to be the NBA star, or they want to be a football star. They want to be like Joe Paterno. They want to be a god. I'm a god. I'm a legend of sports. You must bow to me. Ugh, disgusting.
I absolutely agree, and it's not. I'm not happy that somebody died. I don't.
Oh yeah, I'm not celebrating
idea.
Paterno's death. I just think it's very. I brought it up because I think it's very shady. Personally, I think Paterno knew.
Yeah, all of a sudden, within a month or so,
dude, Paterno knew too much. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
he knew where the bodies were buried, as it were, and you got to go, dude. You know too much. You know how they deal with these people.
And this goes all the way back to Boys Town, dude. This is so intertwined into old corruption that, he probably had to go.
Yeah, he knew too much, dude. It's as simple as that. Paterno knew too much. When you know too much, you become a liability. When you become a liability, that's it. You're done. You're expendable in your history.
And, of course, into the world, he died of natural causes. And then whoever else dies in connection, how many people... Let me ask you this. How many people do you think will either suicide themselves or die,
It's a good question. We should actually keep
because this does. You look at it. This goes way back.
Let's
I mean,
keep it
there's
tallied,
involvement
Jay,
that goes way back into the 70s.
From the time the Penn State scandal opened to a year later, let's keep a running tally and see how many people involved died of car accidents. I'm doing air quotes. Car accidents, suicide, or natural causes.
Cancers, yeah, or heart attacks, probably. But the cancers, that fast-acting cancers. We know that's in their gig. That's in their bag of tricks. Just like you were mentioning, I just caught the tail end when you were talking about Judith Berry Baker.
Well, dude, if you look, once you research her stuff, the stuff that she's come out with and the information, and you read Dr. Mary's Monkey and the stuff Ed Haslam wrote and all this other stuff, and you get further into it, and you research weaponized cancer and everything else, then you start to look at all these people that were truth tellers, or at least, at the very least, a big mouth troublemaker for the New World Order establishment. And they always die of cancer. Have you noticed this, JJ? Bill Hicks, Aaron Russo. All these people that seem to be a speed bump, they get this fast-acting cancer, and boom, they're gone. They're dead. Now,
absolutely.
It maybe not all of them are connected. Maybe some of them really did just die of regular old-fashioned cancer. But young people getting cancer at such a young age, knowing what I know about the research with the polio vaccine and everything else, I'd be remiss to at least mention it. So, yeah, I just think it's shady about Paterno's death. Not that I really care about the guy or football or anything.
No, but all of a sudden, I mean, he was old as dirt to begin with. But, if he was still coach, if this scandal never broke, you think he'd still be alive? I think he probably would.
Paterno would have been the coach until the day he dropped dead.
Yeah.
If this hadn't broken. Which I'm willing to bet wouldn't have been today either if this story hadn't broken a month and a half ago, 2 months ago.
True.
It's disgusting. And it's not just Penn State. This goes back, like you said, Boys Town. It's institutionalized. This is stuff that's been going on forever. Don't think that it just ends with Penn State and maybe a couple bad football coaches that were a little weird and liked little boys. This goes much deeper than that.
And you know what? Screw Penn State. Screw hiding something because, Penn State is a greater good or whatever it is. Like we're going to hide and cover this up because this is just one thing and we don't want it to affect the whole. Let that whole thing just drop and fade into the dirt.
Especially if it's a facade based on BS. It's better to bring the facade down and then build a solid foundation and fix it and build it up nice and solid with reality. But no, they'd rather keep the facade of Penn State, the ultimate football school. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. We're going to break. Stay tuned. Just in case anyone's interested, on my regular show over on Orion, I do a piece called Veterans Views. If anyone's ever interested, if you're a veteran and you want to get your voice out, feel free to email me, vfor911@gmail.com. The letter V, FOR911@gmail.com. You want to spout off, you want to contact me about anything, whatever. Veterans Views is so that veterans have a voice. And if I get enough of a response when I guest host here on different shows on Oracle, if I get a big enough response, I'll even bring that over here for a segment or two and give the veterans a voice on either network. So to me, it's important that vets who normally don't get a chance to get their voices heard get a chance. All right. So, JJ, there's something else I want to discuss now. Now, you and I talked about this off air, and I know I sent you a bunch of clips and stuff yesterday to check out. But did you get a chance to check out the story about the Jewish guy getting arrested in New York for running around painting swastikas and quote-unquote hate speech, spray painting it on people's doors and stuff, and making threatening quote-unquote anti-Semitic phone calls?
No, that one slipped through the Against the Wall Studios staff here.
Oh, here, check this out. I'll play it for you then. You'll enjoy it. Right. Check this clip out.
Have arrested 56-year-old David Haddad for a string of anti-Semitic messages here in Brooklyn and in Manhattan. Now, my police sources are telling me that he's also the prime suspect in a rash of swastika incidents and a phone threat made here in Midwood over the weekend. And what's surprising here, police say Haddad is Jewish.
I was shocked. You never expected to be you.
A police officer now stands guard over school children at an Ocean Parkway yeshiva, defaced by hurtful and offensive symbols of hate. And a couple of blocks away, another swastika, spray painted on the wall of this apartment building. A third symbol defaced the garage door on the Mills family property.
Here, and you have to be careful and be more aware and, not look behind you.
The disturbing discoveries were made Saturday night. Then Sunday evening, a couple in this neighborhood returned home to find a message on their voicemail threatening repeatedly to kill all Jews. Assemblyman Dov Hyken lives on the block. He says his neighbors and constituents are all on edge.
Whoever it is, Jew, Muslim, whatever, we need to get those people off the streets.
This guy kills me. We need to get the people off the streets.
Whatever it is, Jews, crypto.
Did they bother to tell this guy? This assemblyman, did they bother to tell him it was one of his own fellow compatriots?
No.
Did this? I bet you they didn't tell him that. It's just the reason I played this was because a lot of times you hear people running around playing up this race baiting or this racism card. Oh my God, they hate this. They hate me because I'm Jewish, or they hate me because I'm black, or you're racist because you don't like Obama, or this or that. The reason I played it was it's an example of how a lot of this stuff is contrived and overblown and usually done by people themselves. Now, the interesting thing is the news clip never, ever, ever explains why the guy did it. Never gives a reason for the guy running. Doesn't even say, well, he was a little messed up in the head, or maybe he was angry at certain.
I don't think he had his medication right. I think he needs one of those new.
He knew the people he threatened.
He's going to have to take a chip so that we can monitor his.
So we can be all safe.
Serotonin reuptake inhibitor
For the general public's well-being, he needs to be chipped. JJ, is that what you're saying?
I think so. I think he was probably not taking his Prozac as directed. And he may need some Adderall, too, also added to the diet. And then pretty soon, hopefully soon, he'll be on Depakote and some other stuff. And then he'll be okay.
You want to bet he probably is on all that stuff already.
All right, I'll be serious. I was just kidding.
They already probably have him on that already, though. But I thought the listeners would find it interesting because and it's not. I'm not going to get into bashing anyone, race or culture. It goes to show you that there are fakers.
We bash them all.
And well, it goes to show you that there are fakers.
Bash the creeps.
And when people cry racism and this and that as a first offense against everything, you should perhaps look a little deeper into it and see what the facts are. Yes, there is racism. Sometimes there is idiotic morons that are racist, no matter who it's about. But everything is not based on racism, and a lot of times you have people like this doing false crap. Now, this guy spread fear. Technically, what he did was, quote unquote, terrorism. He terrorized his neighbors. You heard that little old lady. I feel like I have to look over my shoulder now. Well, yeah. That's the definition of terrorism. He terrorized them. Now, what was the reason, though? The news and the police never ever said why he did it. Why did you do it? Were you doing it just trying to stir crap? Did you do it trying to, maybe set yourself up as, I'm, my family and my friends are victims, maybe attention. Maybe you were just mad at them. So you did it, out of acting out, because some people just do things because, out of spite and because they're idiots. They don't think. But they never tell you that. I'm surprised they actually told you that it was a Jewish guy that did it himself. So and look, my grandmother was Jewish. So I'm not bashing Jews, and I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not bashing anybody, and I'm not trying to, it's okay. I'm not trying to justify. I see both sides of the fence, but, I understand both sides of the argument there. But as you can see.
So we don't really even need to discuss the argument.
Well, no, I'm not getting into the argument.
We expose who we expose.
What I'm saying, JJ, what I'm saying is it's being used. It's just like race baiting.
Oh, yeah.
It's used. That is there. It's a sore spot. Racism of whatever culture, religion, doesn't matter. That is always a sore spot with the person who it's against. And what they do, just like with, if you don't like Obama, you're a racist because you don't like black people. It's the same thing. They're trying to. A lot of this is stirred up on purpose to keep people at each other's throats, okay, and to keep people fighting. Now, that's why I want to know what drove this guy to do that. Was he told by somebody in the community, somebody maybe higher up that he knows, politically connected, hey, you should go do this, blah 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 blah? Was he just nutty in the head? Was he just maybe touched by a I don't know
touched in the head?
Yeah, I don't want to say mentally retarded, but maybe he's a little special, you know what I'm saying? Maybe
that's what I
not
just said.
Right.
Touched in the head.
Yeah, touched in the head.
I would agree.
Who knows? I mean, without the cops or the media coming forward with why the guy did it, we'll never know. We'll be able to speculate. But I just wanted to show that sometimes when you see people crying foul of, oh, you're against me because I'm black or because I'm a Jew or because of this or because of that, it's not like that. A lot of the times that stuff is thrown at people because they know that's an emotional subject. They know that's
exactly
continuously said.
Just like my mom said, it could be that they're just a-holes.
Yeah, maybe, like I said.
There are a lot of those out there, too.
The guy could just be an idiot. There could be a million reasons why. I would like to know why. I mean, it's I'd like to know if I don't think there was a grand conspiracy behind it. I think the guy himself, personally, from my take on it, the guy's just not right in the head. Maybe he was pissed at some of the people because some of the people that were threatened were people he knew.
True.
And I've seen people, look, it's just like a girl pretending to be raped. Oh, I was beat up, I was raped, I was attacked, this, that, the other thing. It's the same thing. It's fake. It's contrived. I'm not saying girls that get raped or cry rape are lying. I'm talking about the ones that cry false rape. It
happens a lot.
Tawana Brawley. Remember her? Back in, what was it, the 80s or the 90s with Al Sharpton? She supposedly got raped and mugged, and then if you come to find out, she made the whole thing up.
Yeah.
It was all done for attention. So who knows? Maybe this guy just wanted attention. He was lashing out. But I just thought everybody would find it interesting. All right, we're going to move.
In fact, that's probably what it was.
It probably was. The guy just wanted attention. He was just losing it. We're going to move on. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. We are back. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to open up the call lines. I'm going to go to the lines in a minute, but I want to open up the call lines for anybody that wants to call in. Tell me what you feel about what we've been talking about today.
866-841-1065.
Yep. Tell me if you think you care about Joe Pa. Tell me if you think if he knew too much. Tell me what you think about people faking stuff, lying, hiding behind the mask of racism to mask stuff and, cause problems. And I want you to tell me what you think about the clip I'm going to play in a few minutes. But before I do any of that, I'm going to go to the phone lines and bring up the one caller who's been patiently waiting, a regular caller here to the Oracle Broadcasting Network,
Man Jeff,
many others. Our buddy Jeff in Massachusetts. Jeff, how are you today, buddy?
Oh, no, I'm doing just fine. Well, I have a testimony to share with you that kind of lines up with the program. No joke. If you ever watched 1984, 2 Minutes of Hate, that's what was ringing through my mind when this happened. I was invited by a friend, good guy, to an SEIU meeting. Now my security workplace is a union shop. So I sat there in the SEIU meeting taking down notes like an undercover reporter, just jotting down a few notes as they were speaking. Now the whole thing with the SEIU meeting was social justice. Basically I'm going to use my words, sticking it to the fat, rich, white guy. And every time they put a corporate CEO in there, people booed and so forth. And when everybody told their sob stories, people cheered. It was just like something out of communist Russia. And I just
it's like
sat
being at
there.
the Occupy.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, they had a person from the Occupy movement speak for all these rights, transgender, gay rights. I'm like, this is making me sick. I mean, but I was there with my own little agenda, which was to give a couple of improper Bostonian articles to a couple of people I know, and so forth. And I listened to some political candidates there. Yes, SEIU does endorse far communist left-wing candidates for political office. Yes. I mean, this is a big shindig. I got the paperwork and everything, and man, oh man, I was just blown back by it.
Did you wear your 9/11 was an inside job T-shirt to the gathering?
I just wore a modest sweatsuit. It was snowing outside. I mean, so I wore my boots, my sweatsuit, and so forth. And I just sat there, just like an undercover cop sitting in the audience, just taking down notes. So I'm not a cop, like an undercover reporter getting the scoop. I wish I could have brought a camera with me, but still, I just listened to it and took down notes and knew what it was. I mean, I'm telling you, and a lot of these unions are the same way.
It's just like being at an Occupy Wall Street event.
Yes, exactly. Class warfare. So when you guys talk about race baiting and all this other stuff, guess what? Race baiting is deeply rooted in communism. The whole thing was solidarity, getting together, sticking it to the rich man, skinning him like a bird. I mean, making sure everybody gets the equal share, helping out the oppressed minorities of Black and Hispanic and so forth. It's us against them. White people are racist. We're not. Now, of course, they didn't say that, but when you listen to these pro-illegal immigration rallies and all this nonsense, it's basically white people are the racists. We're not because we're oppressed. What happens when you get the power? Then what? You know, this is all messed up.
I agree. There's racism in all cultures, man.
Exactly.
Like I'm married to a Latino woman, and I can tell you that there is, without a doubt, racism in all cultures. When I got exposed, to the, all the, like, when I moved to South Florida. Okay.
Try calling a Puerto Rican a Dominican.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's the Caribbean down here, and there's all different types of Spanish people, right? You talk to a Spanish person, like JJ just said. Say you get in a fight, right, and you're arguing with somebody, and you're like, and you look at it, you're talking to someone that's Puerto Rican, and you say, "Oh, you stupid Cuban." They're going to get mad at you, and they're going to get pissed at you because you called them the Puerto Rican will get mad because you called them a Cuban. Cubans will get offended if you call them a Puerto Rican. No one likes to be called Mexican. They pick on the Dominicans. I mean, they all hate the Dominicans, dude. Out of all the, like the Latin cultures, they can't stand, Dom Rep. They can't stand the Dominicans. They're like on the low end of the scale. Now, I learned all this. Right. I learned all this through, years being exposed to the culture. Again, my wife is Puerto Rican, and she grew up on the island. She's not New Yorican. She's actually really Puerto Rican. She grew up on the island itself. And that's how I learned all this stuff. So it's not just, I agree that it's not just white people. There is racism. There is real racism, too. But it's not just in the white culture. It's in every culture. And that's why why I've said before, racism is used to divide us. It doesn't matter who you are. It's used to divide us. Look what they do over in Africa with the Hutus and the Tutsis. I mean,
I know.
They're
both black.
They're both black. It's genocide. They're being controlled in order to wipe each other out. You got to look at the people that are pulling the strings and say, why are they pushing this agenda? And you know what? The Illuminati, these elitists, they're the ones that are truly the racists, Jeff. You know that, right?
Oh, of course. They want to commit genocide. And you know what's funny is, before I get off the air, what you end up having is pro-freedom forces versus pro-communist or pro-socialist forces. You'll find in all these countries, it's usually pro-freedom versus pro-Islamist or pro-communist forces. And then on the top, you have the Illuminati and all these banksters pulling the puppet strings. But boots on the ground in these countries, it's usually that case. And in America, it's poor versus rich. I mean, and so for class warfare, if you ever see class warfare going on in a country, look out, because your country's about to become communist. Guys, I thank you for having me on, and have a good day.
Thanks for calling in there, Jeff. Appreciate it. As always.
Good call, Jeff.
Yeah, interesting topics. Anybody else want to call in? Feel free, 866-841-1065, 866.
If anybody wants to call in and talk about Demolition Man, Jeff, I'm just kidding, brother.
Actually, I was impressed. He didn't use the Demolition Man reference today. It was completely off the script. So
we love Jeff.
That's why it was a pretty good call. But yes, Jeff is a serial caller and a frequent caller here. It's okay. He always brings a.
We love Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff, you usually bring a good point to the table, so we love having you call in, buddy. Thanks again for calling in. And anybody else that wants to call in,
And incidentally, Jeff did win the hang up today.
Yeah, I was gonna try to beat him to it, but I didn't.
You were a little slow.
Yeah, it was my fault. I was a little slow on the draw there, so I got to it just as he hung up. So Jeff, you beat me on the hang up. That's an inside joke. Jimmy X is listening right now, going, "Damn it, Popeye!"
Yeah. You messed up, dude.
When we come back, JJ, we only got about 2 minutes. When we come back, I'm going to play that clip that I was talking to you about the NYPD. I don't know if anybody's heard this, but apparently the NYPD has been working with the Department of Defense. That's right, the Department of Defense, to stop the epidemic, and I'm doing air quotes, the epidemic of illegal guns in New York City. So they're going to be, they're working on, and they've now made it, now they're trying to make it a little more portable, a portable x-ray machine. So, you know those naked body scanners at the airport that you don't like? Yeah. Well, you're about to get that on a moving scale. Remember that you said, well, I can opt out and not fly. I don't have to worry about that. Now they're going to drive around and bathe you in it. And it's the radiation, it's the radiation that's emitted by this thing is they're terahertz waves. Those are the ones that unzip your DNA and scramble it. So that's great. They're going to be literally driving around destroying people's DNA as they scan everybody to radiate everybody. Isn't that awesome? That's just great. So if you live in New York City, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time to move. Time to pack your bags and get the hell out. It was time to get out of there a while ago, but now it's really time to get out because it's just becoming a complete and utter police state. And I have family that still lives up there, and most of them have bailed out, but there's still a couple holdouts, and we're trying to push them to leave because it's just not a good place to be. Muy mal. Very bad. It's not, I don't know, man. New York is not the same city it was when I grew up as a kid. And I grew up right outside New York City in Jersey. And it was not the same way. It's not the same way it was when I was a kid anymore. The city is just, after 9/11, I mean, it was already kind of a police state before 9/11, but afterwards, it's just, it kicked into high gear. And now they're going to be driving around with portable x-ray machines, searching for guns. Talk about Bloomberg being anti-Second Amendment. What a scumbag. Working with the CIA, on record now, NYPD, and Department of Defense. Still think the NYPD is not militarized? Think again. Remember, they have anti-aircraft weapons. We're going to break. We'll be right back. So if you live in New York City, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time to pack your bags and move. If you like liberty, if you like the freedom, if you don't feel that Bloomberg is a king, then maybe you should move. If you think Bloomberg is your king and you are his serf, then by all means, stay and hang out with him. I know New York City is a neat city, but it's not worth living in a police state.
It's a crap hole, dude.
It's not worth living in a police state for, dude.
You don't have to be nice. It's a crap hole. So Chicago, so
well, no, New York. I mean, for the people maybe that have never been there, it's
they probably like it.
But I mean, I grew up right out on the other side of the.
My mom lived in Chicago for years.
Well, I grew up right outside New York, so it didn't bother me. It didn't, it didn't wasn't anything big for me to go to New York. But to outsiders, some people think New York City is an awesome, awesome city, which I beg to differ. But check this out. This is the news clip from CNN. And listen, it's disgusting because the mainstream media, in fact, I'll probably stop it and end up ripping it apart when I hear something stupid because that's what happens. But they try to play it like, well, it's to protect the people. And, and of course, civil libertarians have a problem with it. The way they use that label, civil libertarians, as in the people that have the people that are trying to protect everybody, all of us, including the moron reporter, all of us, all of our civil liberties, okay? The people that stand up and protect them are labeled. And why do they use labels? It's because first they label you, that way they can marginalize you. That's the way they do it. And here, check it out.
So police may soon have a gadget that can actually look through your clothes.
A gadget? Oh, a nifty little gadget, JJ. I just have this nifty little gadget that, hey, can look through your clothes.
Is it sold on Think Geek? You get it at Newegg? With
her fake smile, that with dead eyes. I'm staring at a teleprompter, dead eyes.
and see if you're carrying a gun. Law enforcement types, well, they love the idea, but plenty of people say it might take surveillance just a bit too far. Mary Snow.
I have to stop it there for a second. Might take it too far? Might take it too far?
Oh, that's an understatement.
Might? I think might's a bit of an understatement, lady.
That's the story.
In the movie Total Recall, there was nothing Arnold Schwarzenegger could conceal.
I got a lock. There!
Now this.
And what do they show? They show the Total Recall scanner, in the airport where he ran through, and it shows he's got a gun on his hip. Remember that little predictive programming in the movie like 15 years ago?
Well, first of all, if you know there's that kind of scanners, what kind of an idiot would try to walk through one with a gun?
I know.
Anyhow, never mind.
I know.
That's illogical. That's like the endless clip.
I know.
Right.
You're right. It's called predictive programming, JJ.
Stuff of science fiction is edging closer to reality on New York City streets. If you were carrying a gun, it would look like this, with technology the city's police
would look like this.
Developing with the U.S. Defense Department.
Remember, Colin Powell. Hold on, pause that for a second. Remember, Colin Powell was telling us what it would look like if Saddam Hussein was spraying chemical agents, but he wasn't. But they showed us all on TV for months what it would look like if he was.
The mobile bomb labs and stuff that they had.
This is what they would look like if they had them.
Well, it's a black and white picture, and the guy's got his hands like behind his head, and what you see is this like green highlight around it, and you can make out there's a white shape that the guy's got. Like you can see it's in his pants, obviously it's underneath his clothes, but it's in his back. So he's got a gun, whether it's real or a toy, for the picture, tucked into the back. And then this thing is supposed to be able to help cops say, hey, this person's like, as you're walking down the street, they scan you, they see something that they think resembles a gun, they hop out, tackle you, and arrest you. Now, what happens when it's not a gun? What happens if it's a toy gun because you're an actor and you're on your way to a stage class, like an improv class or a movie shoot, and you're bringing it with you, and you just happen to have it on you, and it's a prop gun. It's not real. There's a bazillion ways we could go with this. Anyway, here I'll continue on with the clip. But yeah, you're right. Again, it's the news media, it's the mainstream media, JJ, showing us what to be looking for, what could be bad, which is just some white highlighted box, against a black and white silhouette photo of some guy. And that's supposed to, it could be a Walkman for all I know. You know what I mean? Maybe the guy's got some 80s fetish and he likes to listen to audio tapes.
Energy of a person's body.
Terahertz is a radiation that, in essence, comes from lots of things, but can come from the human body.
This is Ray Kelly saying that terahertz waves come from the human body. So therefore, even though it's been proven scientifically that terahertz waves unzip your DNA, that's what they're going to use. And they want the things to be able to pass through you.
But it's okay if they're doing it for your protection.
It's
all right if they break down your DNA for your own protection.
He makes it sound like it's harmless radiation, JJ.
It's harmless.
First of all, Ray Kelly, last time I checked, isn't a doctor. I know he's the New York City police commissioner, but he's not a doctor by any means. So I don't think he should be giving out medical advice.
What it doesn't penetrate is metal or objects similar to metal.
And the commissioner says since the radiation can't penetrate metal, it makes the outline of a gun visible. The detector looks like this, and the plan is for it to be operated from inside a vehicle.
Right now, these devices only work from a couple of feet away, and the NYPD is hoping to stretch that to about 80 feet.
Just the possibility of using this technology is
80 feet. It only works from a few feet away right now. And the picture you see, I'll throw the video in the chat for the people in a second, but the picture that you see that they show, you see like the back of a van, and then they have a trailer, and they have this thing built up
where you walk through.
It just kind of looks like at the top, like two big speakers flipped on their sides, and I guess that's where the radiation is emitted from. And they drive around just scanning you, or as they keep it on. I guess they could be parked and then aimed at a certain area, and then as you walk by, the idea would be to scan. Right now, it only works at a few feet. They want to do it at 80 feet. Can you imagine an 80-foot beam of radiation, this terahertz radiation, the stuff that literally, again, unzips your DNA and scrambles it, okay? And they're just going to drive around. You're going to have some low-paid, idiot NYPD officer who just got out of, the police academy, doesn't know any better. They're going to put this guy behind the machine. And what about the operators? What about all the police officers that are operating this? Just like the TSA agents that are all dropping dead of cancer now and getting cancer from these radiation, from the scanning machines. And TSA doesn't want to test for it, and they won't talk about it, even though they know that there are people getting sick from it. So what happens to all the police officers that operate that equipment too? If you're a cop, you need to think about this. If you hear this broadcast, you need to think about this. You could be like, oh, I don't care. Screw civil liberties. I'm a cop. Rah. That's fine. Think about the fact that you're going to get killed. You're going to kill yourself for what? To be a cool guy, to wear a cool uniform and have a badge and boss people around? No, I don't think it's worth it. So you need to think about that.
They'll kill themselves rather than admit the truth.
Which is sad.
They will blindly go ahead knowing, even if they won't admit that anything we say is true. They would rather die.
How retarded is that?
I don't know.
It's like being lemmings, dude. Seriously, it's like running for the cliff and you're like, hey, dude, if you keep going, you're going to go right off. I know, but I can't admit that I'm wrong. I can't admit that I'm wrong, so I'd rather run off the cliff and live in my blissful happiness for the last couple seconds of my life. I mean, it's ridiculous.
We're not asking questions that hundreds and thousands of other people don't ask also. Some people get the idea that, we're the only ones out there asking these questions. Nah, very far from the truth.
Well, I mean, dude, other people are obviously asking the same things. When it comes to this video, when it comes to this issue with the X-ray machine, look, we're only like halfway through it, and we have to stop and tear it apart. Because you can't. I mean, not only is the news disturbing, but the way they come across with the mainstream propaganda machine is just disgusting. You should see the little video titles they have on the bottom there. It says police device sees through clothes. Critics insist gun detector is quote-unquote Orwellian. Critics insist. So they use the term critic, so people are like, oh, there's always a friggin' critic.
I don't think that's Orwellian. I think it's freaking downright evil.
Unbelievable, dude. That's how this propaganda machine works. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to break. We'll be back. We'll finish playing up the clip and tearing it apart on the other side. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for hour number 2. Here with Radio X.
Oh, yeah. Popeye, it's hard to fight an enemy who has an outpost in your head.
Wow, where'd you read that?
Sally Kempton wrote that, but Red Rocks posted it, and I read it, and it was like, yeah, you're so right, buddy.
That's pretty good. I like that.
That came straight from the chat room if you want to.
Say that again, Jay. Repeat that. I like that.
All right. Well, first of all, we'll tell everybody you can go to oraclebroadcasting.com and find the chat room link. And you can come into the chat room and drop posts, and I will read them if they're cool, like this one. It's hard to fight an enemy who has an outpost in your head. And that is something posted by somebody in the chat room. And how true is that?
That touches on what Sun Tzu talked about in the Art of War. How battles are won before either side has even ever stepped onto the battlefield. The battle is first won inside your head mentally, and if you don't win the battle mentally, you'll lose before you ever even step foot on the field. So, and then when you step on the field, it'll be just a bloody slaughter. So, let's get back into this clip, JJ. We're about 1 minute and 17 seconds into a 3-minute clip, and we haven't been able to stop ripping it apart. So, again, for the people that are joining us, maybe didn't hear the whole thing from the last segment, we're talking about this police device that the NYPD and the Department of Defense, okay, Department of Defense and NYPD teamed up and made a X-ray machine to search for quote-unquote illegal guns. So what happens in states that have concealed carry, which is a lot of them, like most of them? Well, I mean, open carry, you wouldn't obviously need the machine, but what about all these states that have concealed carry? You're just going to start randomly SWAT teaming hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people a day? Because you'd be surprised how many people actually carry a gun out there.
No, because they love it to have, dude, they would love to have everything in your pocket, contraband, so that just any old time that they feel the need without any probable cause, without any due process, they could just yank you out of a crowd, go through your pockets and go, oh, this is contraband, or, this here, oh, you're not allowed to have this. This isn't on the approved list. You're not approved to have 3, you can't wear 2 pairs of socks. You're only wearing 1, They just love it. That's why they do things like this. Do I really think they're going to go around and try to round up, what is it, like 3 million handguns in America or whatever? No.
Yeah, dude.
They'll just make it so that's just one more thing that when they pull you over for, that's
how they
any
do it.
old reason they'll just go, oh, he's got a weapon. Oh, he's got a lighter without the child-proof cap on it. This guy's smoking cigarettes without.
You get
filters.
shot 150 times because you were smoking a cigarette, and while you were smoking the cigarette, the officer felt that you might, at some point, try to flick the cigarette out the window, and that could cause harm to Mother Earth. And if the Gaia spirit were to be hurt, that is against all law, and you had to be shot and killed for your own good as well as the good of the human race. Ugh. I mean, that's where we're going. That's the kind of crap we're headed to. When people say, "Oh, come on, that's out of control," really?
Well, listen, Popeye. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen, dude.
10 years ago, if I had said to you, they're going to drive around with X-ray machines, the DOD and the NYPD are going to team up, make an X-ray machine to drive around and scan you in New York City, you would have looked at me like I had 6 heads and been like, "Bro."
I'd say you were watching too much Demolition Man.
Exactly. And now what? Now what do you think?
Now I would find it hard not to believe something like that.
See?
Stay tuned. There's more.
And over the course of just 10 years, we've completely turned flip upside down, as they say. Okay, we are going to break, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back. Stay tuned in a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and as promised, I'm going to play the rest of this clip before JJ and I.
No, you're not.
Otherwise, JJ and I keep talking, and we'll never get the clip played. We're known for doing this.
Setting off alarms among veteran civil liberties advocate Norman Siegel.
Your first reaction when you heard about this?
Oh my God, it's fantasy land, it's Orwellian, it's 1984 coming to New York City, and if it takes hold in New York City, it'll ripple all across America, and that's not the America that I grew up in.
But the New York Siegel grew up in has changed dramatically. Police surveillance cameras blanket the city following 9/11 and continue to expand.
If this goes forward, the government will not only know where you are, who you're associating with, but also know what's in your pockets and what's in your body.
The city's mayor sees it differently. He's been a strong advocate for cracking down on illegal guns and defends the technology.
You can argue that's an invasion of privacy, but in the world we live in, that's something that we just have to live with. The alternative is intolerable.
All right, I got to mute it. I got to stop it there for a second. No, I don't have to live with it, okay? There's where you're wrong, Mayor Bloomberg.
Those people don't get their guns at the gun store anyways.
Dude, this guy's an idiot. He's like, you in today's day and age.
They make it harder for people that want to really protect themselves.
What's special about today? What's he referring to when he says that? He's referring to terrorism is what he's referring to. And let me tell you something, folks. If I'm walking down the street and I see somebody, okay, and he's a terrorist, I'm doing air quotes, right? And he wants to blow himself up for Allah or whatever horse crap reason, okay? Which when I said blow himself up for Allah, I was being sarcastic. Okay, it just sometimes sarcasm is hard to get across via the radio. Anyway, if I'm walking down the street and I have a concealed weapons permit and I have a gun on me, right, and I'm average Joe and I can carry because of the Second Amendment. Oh, I love this country. I'm walking down the street, and I see a bad guy, a terrorist. What would be better?
Is he wearing a sign?
Well, yeah, because he says I'm a terrorist, And I see that there's a bad guy. Say he pulls a gun out. Because they're not just talking about a suicide bomber. They're talking about somebody pulling a gun out and shooting random people. So we're walking in the street. Some guy wants to just terrorize people, right? JJ, you're with me. We're walking down the street, and bad guy pulls out his gun and starts randomly shooting people. I'm a terrorist, blah, 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 blah. Kill people, shoot people, boom, 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 right? You and I both legal carrying gun owners, right? And, here in the United States, we have the Second Amendment. We can protect ourselves. Well, what would be better? Would it be better for us to cower like a bunch of pussies underneath a table somewhere? Or would it be better for you and I to just, without even thinking, draw our weapons, take aim, and kill him right where he stands and stop the problem? What would be more effective? I think option number 2.
See something, say something?
Yeah, that's good. I see a guy killing random people, but I'm such a pussy, I'm going to sit here and not try to save anybody's life. I'm not going to do anything to stop it.
If I stopped it, it wouldn't make the... I mean,
everybody had a gun.
It's much more of a spectacle if I have to call 911 and wait 30 minutes for the cops to show up.
Well, 2 things. One, if there were people that were there that were armed, they could stop it. 2...
No, I agree.
If
you look at that church...
everybody was armed, that kind of crap couldn't happen.
Remember a few years ago, Popeye?
Random shootings once in a while, dude. Somebody would pull out a gun and shoot somebody randomly, and everybody else, out of fear for their own safety, would cap the guy instantly. So,
and here's the story, Popeye. You remember it because they squashed it. You don't hear about it much anymore. The shooting that was happening at the church where a concealed carry, a woman with a concealed carry permit who happened to have her pistol, stopped it. It ended with her. But you don't hear about that. I mean, without her there, this guy probably would have killed 8-10 more people.
I'm telling you, dude. If you have a gun, and you're walking down the street, and you're obviously carrying in line with the laws, the Constitution. That's the laws I'm referring to. I'm not referring to, people saying, you can't have this, you can't have that. Like here in Florida, we had cities and counties making their own gun laws. Like you couldn't, even if you're a concealed weapons carry holder, you can't walk into a park with your gun. And it was pissing a lot of people off. Now, the state law in Florida said that they couldn't do that, but it never had any teeth. So these governments, these local governments and assemblymen and people who didn't like guns went ahead and did what they wanted anyway. Not until the state passed a law or gave the law that was already there some teeth, and that these people would be thrown out of office and could be, fined up to like $5,000-$10,000 and possibly thrown in jail for violating people's constitutional rights. Then they backed off. Now these counties and cities and everybody had to fall in line. So I'm not, when I'm referring to law, I'm not referring to BS laws made by some assemblyman. I'm saying constitutionally, you're carrying, you're not walking around waving it in people's faces. You're being a responsible gun owner. You're not threatening people. Okay, concealed carry means that no one else knows you have it anyway. Okay, that's the whole point of concealed carry. Personally, I'm all about open carry. I think if we were allowed to openly carry, there would be less problems. Now, when it comes to winter states and stuff like that, I do believe that I guess if you're going to conceal carry, maybe I don't really agree that you have to have a permit anyway. I think everybody could just be responsible enough to not shoot people.
Well, if you act irresponsibly, you lose your guns. You go to jail or whatever. I mean, we have laws already.
I mean,
you don't need.
What does the permit do?
I just don't like banning anything.
This is actually something good here. Let's get into this.
It never works.
What does the permit do, JJ? Does the permit stop people from shooting? No.
No.
Does the permit stop bad people from getting guns? No. It's just a quote unquote permit that you have as a quote unquote legal gun owner, and gives you the right to carry, they say. But does it really give you the right to carry? I mean, does the permit...
It gives them the right to fleece you for fees.
Exactly. A lot of it is crap, dude. It's like a driver's license. Do driver's licenses really stop accidents? No,
and they don't make the roads any safer.
I've seen people cheat and get licenses that can't even speak English. You don't know what a stop sign is.
Insurance.
We have a road sign test down here. What they do is they take the writing off the signs and they just show you like the blank picture, and you have to say what kind of sign it is. Like they'll show you the stop sign without the word stop on it, and you have to say what kind of sign is this. I've seen people at the DMV fail these tests multiple times in a row. And then eventually they pass it because they let them keep taking the test 5 or 6 times, and they end up passing the test. And then they have a license. But then these people go out and they're driving around and they don't know what the stop sign is, and they run a stop sign and they kill an entire family of 5 that's out for dinner. So did that license really stop that guy from driving like an a-hole and killing those people? No.
No.
Permits
any
really
more
don't
than
stop.
any more than making driving drunk illegal stops people from driving drunk.
Exactly. I agree. All right, JJ, we're going to get cut off by the break. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and I'm going to go to the phone lines. Again, if you want to call in, talk about anything that we've been discussing today, feel free. 866-841-1065. 866-841-1065. And I'm going to go to the phone lines and bring up Doc in Florida. Doc, are you with me?
Yeah, I'm here.
How's it going?
Good, good.
So what did you want to talk about today? You wanted to get into this explosive-laden ships massing near the Canary Islands. Tell the listeners about this. What's going on?
Well, are you reading it, or?
Yeah, I've been checking it out, but go ahead and, for the listeners that can't read it right now, go ahead and tell them.
Okay, basically, those one of the ships that was in Finland that got stopped, and one of the captain was arrested because it had the cruise missiles on it that mysteriously may have come from Israel, but they're not sure. It's one of those, hide this and hide that and smoke and mirror thing.
Yeah, the cloak and dagger type crap that they do.
It just never ends. But anyway, a lot of the people on the internet are saying that it's looking like they're going to try and explode the islands and cause a tsunami that'll kill 40 to 50 million people on the East Coast and everybody in the Caribbean with a tsunami. Are you familiar with all this?
Yeah, the Canary Islands. If the Canary Island chain, there's a volcano over there. If it erupted, it would create it would be such a massive eruption that it would create a massive tsunami and wipe out the east coast of the United States and everything in the Caribbean, pretty much.
Yeah. When you were talking about people getting out of New York, there's more than one reason.
Yeah, I would get out. In New York City, it'll definitely be history.
Yeah. Well, this article here that I'm looking at on the website I gave you says they offloaded the cargo at the Canary Islands, and it was like 2 ships, I think, that unloaded just, trailers full of explosives. Now, why would that's just a resort,
Yeah, I mean, it begs the question of, are they trying to do something? I mean, people think that, oh, come on, they wouldn't do that. I beg to differ. I mean,
we know better.
Yeah, I know
they will do anything.
They want to kill on a massive scale. So what better way to do it? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And blame it on a natural disaster.
Oh, sure.
That fits their MO. So it wouldn't surprise me if they wanted to do that at all.
I just wanted people to have a heads up on this, and I've spoken with Chris and Sherry a couple times, and given them some heads up on some things, and also Sheriff Bob Tuscan, I've spoken with him.
Well, I appreciate you calling in, Doc. Thank you for bringing this to everybody's attention. So,
a couple more things real quick.
Shoot, go ahead. What's up?
Yeah. Raytheon has developed riot shields that emit ELF waves.
I heard about this.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know.
That's incredible. I heard about this about 2 weeks ago, and I had completely forgot about it. I'm actually glad you brought that up. That's incredible. And picture that. They could just sit there, take a knee, drop down behind the shield, press a button on the handle, and, nail everybody in front of them.
Yeah. And then all they got to do is throw them in the back of the van.
Yeah, because
like a video game, you know what I mean?
Everybody
if you get enough power pills, you get the multiple shots.
Yeah. It's turning into a video game, JJ. That's what this
thing is, yeah.
It's like we're living in...
And everything they do is all about force multipliers.
Yeah, everything is... You ever notice we spend so much money and effort building technology to kill each other, but we don't even bother to take 10 seconds to try to figure out stuff that would heal each other and help one another? We're too busy trying to kill each other. It just doesn't make sense to me. And this comes from a vet.
The Illuminati's not on the same page people like us are.
Oh, no, of course not. They're psychotic, man. They're really out of their freaking gourd. But the people doing it is what gets me. Like, there's got to be a point where somebody says, all right, this can't be good. You know, like, where they go home and they look at themselves in the mirror and they say, you know, I'm either doing this for the money and I'm a complete piece of crap, or I have to stand up with the human race. And I don't know, man. It's just sometimes it pisses me off that people buy into this. Yeah, we're part of the system. No, you're not. You're next, idiot.
Yeah. Well, most people are under mind control from Hollywood and, you know, DARPA, and you name it. It's just insane. There's not many of us sane people left.
Very true. The mass
They've
general.
been chemically lobotomized. They've been electromagnetically lobotomized.
Yep. Through food, vaccines, TV.
There was an article about, vaccines. There was an article about Japan, and people are going into the hospitals there, and the doctors won't treat them for radiation sickness. And that actually, some of them are already, their skulls are receding, and their frontal lobe is shrinking. And when the doctors tell them what's wrong with them, they just laugh. They can't stop laughing.
That's disturbing.
It's real. Well, it's coming here, you know. I mean, Fukushima's still going off like a banshee and radiating the entire planet with some serious stuff.
You know, a lot of these people, there's mayors and stuff over in Japan were heavily exposed in the first days and stuff, and people that you saw on TV that are dropping dead now.
Yeah.
I want to know about that guy that drank the water, the one that his hand was shaking. They made him drink the water on TV from it was one of the a stream or something that was near Fukushima, or one of the wells or something that was near Fukushima. And he was like, the water's fine, look. And he was like, I'll drink it. And he did it on TV. And as he was doing it, the hand he's got holding and like he poured it right out of, you could see that he took it right out of the well. So it wasn't like faked water that he was like, see. And his hand was shaking so bad, and this guy's drinking it. You know he's going to die.
Yeah,
He just killed himself on live TV, just slowly. It's
know.
disturbing.
Well, Japan has been under mind control forever. You know, as a society.
Yeah, they're very. That's
why they won't leave. They won't leave. You know, except for the ruling class. That's what the ghost cities in China are for. Is for Japan. The people of the ruling class. They're all ready to go. Some of them, I think, have already moved. It's hard to keep track of that, you know, exactly, because I do a lot of research online, so.
Well, that's
it's hard for everybody.
Truth. You're not going to get anything from the mainstream media. I can tell you that. It's
no,
good.
I don't watch it. Well, except to say that the new Friskies commercial is Illuminati. This cat goes through this rainbow stargate from the kitchen floor and goes through all this like Alice in Wonderland crap. And before he comes back through the rainbow stargate, in a Friskies commercial, mind you, he walks through this Illuminati little deal. You can probably look this up. And it's got the checkered flooring and the two columns.
I'm going to have to go watch the commercial because I know what commercial you're talking about. And
there's a couple of different
hide
ones.
stuff in the commercials, dude. They do it all the time. It's the
oh man.
If you go, once you know what to look for and you start to go back and look at things, I've gone back and looked at videos from the 80s, like music videos, and from the 90s.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of this dance music from the 90s and stuff. There's some of the stuff that during the video, it's randomly flashing through the video really fast. Pictures of like seeing eye, Baphomet head, everything else. It's really disgusting. Doc, we're running out of time. We got about 20 seconds left. Is there anything else you want to get out really quick?
I thought we had till 3 o'clock.
Well, no, we're gonna. So I mean, before the break, is there anything else you want to get out really quick?
Oh boy, there's so much.
Just hang on. We'll get more into it on the other side when we come back.
Okay, cool.
Stay right there. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here. Radio X. Your guest host, Popeye from FederalJack.com, hanging out with my buddy JJ Inc. I'm going to go back to the phone lines and bring Doc in Florida back up. Doc, you with me?
Yeah, I'm here.
I just watched that video during the break, And you
heard
probably heard me and JJ talking about
I
it. Ladies and gentlemen, he is 110% accurate on his reading of this commercial. It is filled with Illuminati symbolism. The commercial is titled, let me look it up here. It is titled Friskies, and then in quotes, Adventureland. And you can find it on YouTube. Again, Friskies, in quotes, Adventureland. And the commercial, you see the cat jumps through a mirror in the kitchen and goes to like Wonderland, like through the looking glass, and starts running around, and it's in this weird, Wonderland with all sorts of weird symbolism. And when he runs through those pillars, like you said, he runs through the pillars. And did you see what was at the top of the archway? It was black and white. The black and white.
Yeah, and did you
tiles.
notice the sky? There were chemtrails.
I've noticed
What
that a lot,
appeared to
by the
be
way.
chemtrails.
I've noticed that a lot, that they're putting those lines like in
Yes.
in animated stuff now, and the only logical reason for that would be to get people in their minds accustomed to seeing that, so it doesn't stick out. Yeah, it's normal. That doesn't stick out as out of the ordinary. But so anyway, Doc, this video is amazing. This Friskies Adventureland commercial. Wow, good find.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
It's amazing when you see it because it's right in front of your face. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, and that's their plan, is to be in our face with all their crap.
Yeah, I agree. You got any other bombshells you want to drop on us like this?
Well, there was a Mazda commercial doing donuts in a prison-like thing out in the desert, and he does a donut and he drives it right through and busts the gate, and it's in a deserted prison, and it looks new.
I've heard of this commercial too, and I heard people were saying that the prison in the commercial was like it was spotless, it was branding, and that they were saying, "Wow, it was enormous." Do you know the title of that one?
Let me think. It's just a Mazda commercial.
I know it came out in the past couple of months.
It's always got weird commercials.
I'm sure if you look up like Mazda prison commercial, did you see the Green Police commercial? Remember that one in the Super Bowl ads a couple years ago?
Oh yeah, with an Audi diesel.
Mhm.
You're okay. Go on through.
Yeah, and it was they were busting the guy. Sir, do you have a regular light bulb? Is that not a fluorescent light bulb? And he's like, yeah, I put it there. And they're putting him in the cop car.
Yeah.
Here, take these pills.
Yeah, right. Take these pills; it'll make you feel better. These will make you a non-offender.
Oh, just a little point here. The guy you were talking about that was spraying the SWAT stickers.
Yeah.
Under mind control.
Really? You think so?
Oh, well, put two and two together, just like the guy that shot the judge and the congresswoman.
Jerry Lee Lofner.
Oh, dude,
he was running around. He had witness. He was running around saying, "I'm under mind control. I'm under mind control." And the real target was the judge, because he wasn't going along with the guys.
Mm-hmm. Because he was like pro Second Amendment.
Yeah, exactly. That was the real target.
Yeah, Giffords was. She was just fodder. The real hit was on the judge that he took out, and
collateral damage.
Well, good.
Not a big deal of these guys.
There was a second guy, remember, for like a day, and then all of a sudden he disappeared. No more second guy.
John Doe number 2 always disappears.
Why was Lofner? Why was he one of the only 2 channels that Gabrielle Giffords' YouTube channel was subscribed to?
I know. Remember, we covered it too.
Yeah,
they actually had dialogues with each other.
If you look it up on YouTube, just look up Gabrielle Giffords subscribe to Shooter's YouTube channel. Just Google it, and hundreds of links will pop up. I did a video on it. Hundreds of other people did videos, and everybody had
a whole show on it.
Screen capture it before they rip it down. And as soon as it became known, it disappeared. Then it went off the page. But you can already see it. There's video proof where you can go to in the videos, you see somebody go into the page, and you'll see her page, and on Gifford's page, it was some representative and then Lofner. Why was she subscribed to his YouTube channel? That's so shady.
Well, I don't know that she did, because Black Ops can put anything on anybody's computer they want to.
Yeah, there you go. But I'm saying is the fact that it's on there is shady and suspect. So if she's
everything.
not subscribed to it, who put it on there? Why? That's a big red flag. That's not, and the media just left that alone because they ran with the lone nut story. You know, anti-Second Amendment, anti-guns. You know, because the gun woke up that day, Doc, and said to Jared, "We're gonna go kill people, Jared.
We're gonna go shoot someone today."
Yeah, same with Columbine, everything else, all black ops.
Oh yeah, what do you know about Columbine? Because I've heard some interesting stuff about that. What do you know about Columbine?
Just that it was so suspicious. You know, like doesn't make sense. We were back to mind control. That's one of their primary tools.
I agree. I heard that one of the kids, I forget which one, and I know I've seen it, but I can't remember if it was Klebold or the other one. But
there were other shots.
One of the two, his father worked at Raytheon.
There you go.
So
there you go. It's just insane.
And Raytheon is heavily involved with the electronic mind control aspect because they do trauma-based, they do chemical, and then they do electronic. Through NASA actually does a lot of this. There's a lot of work done, you know, under the guise of NASA, and it's all done, you know, mind control. Remember, NASA, a lot of these scientists were Nazis that came over.
Paperclip.
They're not, you know, Project Paperclip, and you know, these guys were studying mind control and, you know, torture and all this stuff. They were doing all this stuff to the people in the camps. That's the stuff they don't talk about. That's one of the ways that what happened gets twisted, is they focus on a small select group. They don't talk about the whole mass of people that were put in there for political reasons and everything else. And they don't tell you what really went on there. They just say, oh, they killed people and that was it. No, they don't tell you that a lot of the people were killed during medical experiments. You know, they were trying to. You know, what better of a way to do it than use the people that they had locked up in the camps? They didn't want to waste the German soldiers. You know,
they care not.
Yeah, and so what?
That's why
people in the camps. It's disgusting.
Yeah,
and they're doing it to us, by the way, en masse. Would you not agree, Doc?
Yeah, absolutely. They got rid of Bob Marley that way.
Yep. Me
just
and
like they did
Tuscan
Paterno.
talked about that yesterday, actually.
Just like they did Paterno.
Yep. They weaponized cancer.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about Paterno? I made that comment on air about a month ago that if he died with, you know, suddenly he got cancer. I said if he dies within like a month, it's I call it shady, you know. And look, he's dead.
I knew that. I'm like you. I knew that was going to happen as soon as what's his name, the other coach was exposed.
Oh, Sandusky.
Sandusky, yeah. And this goes on so much everywhere. It's just part of the Illuminati.
I agree.
Does everybody know what Nazi stands for?
Yeah, National Socialist.
What's the ZI for?
I've heard it stands for. I've heard a few things. Someone told me it stands for Ashkenazi Jew.
It's Zionist.
Oh, interesting. I never heard that aspect before.
Well, I'm glad to share it with you. They're the ones that teamed up with Hitler. Said, you know, this is going to cost you a lot of money. So why don't we team up? And they did. And the rest is history.
Interesting. It wouldn't surprise me if the Z stood for Zionist, because if you look at the ways Zionists are, they have the same. They treat, let's look at the Palestinians, for example. They treat those people with the same disdain that the Nazis treated the regular Jews of Europe, or their political dissidents, or communists, or trade unionists, or pretty much anybody that didn't go along with what they believed in. Pretty much anybody, and it's got that same. They have that same hatred. You know what I mean? It's that. So honestly, if you look at it like that, that makes sense, I guess. And it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, the Zionists themselves are the ones that are truly anti-Semitic.
Well, yeah, that's so confusing to so many people. To be down. I'm not down on the Jews. The ones that study the Torah, but the ones that study the Talmud. The Talmud came right out of Babylon, and it's kill, deceive, destroy.
Yeah, it's completely different.
It's 180 degrees.
I agree. 100.
And they kill their own too.
Oh, of course they will. Well, dude, what happens when necessity comes calling and they need to? What happens? They eat their own. They do it all the time.
They eat their young.
Yep.
They don't care. It's amazing how heartless they are. You have to. It begs the question of whether or not they consider themselves to be the next step in the evolutionary ladder. You have to wonder if they're actually steps below us because of the way they act. All right, guys. Keep your thoughts right there. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be back. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, with the final segment of this Sunday edition of Radio X. Thank you for listening here at the Oracle Broadcasting Network. You can listen to me and JJ over on the Orion Talk Radio Network. Just go to oriontalkradio.com. And we'll be on later this afternoon. In fact, JJ will be on in about 25 minutes, and I myself will be on in about 2 hours. So
more like about 13 minutes.
Yeah, well, 13, 25, whatever. My math.
That's your crazy time you guys tell down there in Florida? Is that what it is?
Everything is slower down here, man. You guys are all too speedy up there.
Oh,
No, it's
all
not
fast and stuff.
It's not that bad. I'm going to bring Doc back up for the last few minutes here. Doc.
Yo.
Is there anything else that, because there's a few things that we covered. Is there anything else that you wanted to bring up and talk about?
Something that would be very interesting to all of the listeners would be the whole Agenda radio show with guest Douglas Dietrich. It's a 2-hour video, and he was in charge of, at the Presidio out in California, of burning documents, historical documents, for I don't know how many years. I don't recall right now. But he kept a lot of that stuff, and it's basically the truth about all the wars and all of this crap. It's extremely riveting.
And what was the name, the exact title of the video?
The whole Agenda radio show with guest Douglas Dietrich.
All right, and they can.
But I mean, he's got a website too, I believe.
And he's got tons of info about
oh my
all of
God,
it.
it's just you can't stop. You can't stop listening.
That's good, and if he talks about, as long as the guy talks about, what's going on, apparently, obviously he does, or you wouldn't be.
Oh no, I wouldn't. I check my sources and all that stuff, but
and
it's extremely interesting.
Good that he gets into details. What books and stuff have you read that you would recommend to the listener to maybe get for themselves to read? Because books, I always tell people, are one of the best things to have, no matter what. Because if the internet ever went down, or an EMP or a solar flare or whatever, and the electrical system failed, you'd still have candles and books, and you'd still be able to get that knowledge. So, what books would you recommend to the listeners?
Angel Wars.
Where can they get it? Amazon?
Probably, but you can go right to Steve Quayle's website.
Oh, Steve Quayle's got it right on his site?
Yeah, that's his latest book, and it is, talk about riveting.
What does he get into?
What's really going on in the dimension that we can't see.
Oh, the fourth dimension, as they call it?
You can call it that, yeah. Which is coming up for everybody here shortly, evidently.
Yeah, that's what they say. 2012 is. I've seen. I don't believe the end of the world thing. By the way, I don't.
No, I don't. I don't believe it's the end of the world. It's the end of the age.
Yeah, well, it was a mistranslation. It's the Mayans said the end of an age, and I believe that it. I just think that people are going to maybe see things differently. What that means, that could be kind of wide open because, maybe literally see things differently, or figuratively, they see things differently, on a spiritual level. I'm not really sure yet.
I could tell you it's all of the above.
I would tend to think it would be at least a bit of all of the above, and that people are going to maybe start to get along and be more human to one another. You think that's what's going to happen, or do you think that, do you think we're going to slide into total tyranny?
Well, I think all of the above. You're going to have so many zombies running around. One of the questions they give the troops is, would you have any problem shooting a zombie? People are going to be wandering around drooling out in the middle of traffic. having car accidents, just because of all the electronic soup we're walking around in. And then when they turn on the HAARP combined with the smart meters and the cell phones and the cell towers and the Gwyn towers, they can make you feel any way they want to, which could be violent, which there again dovetails right into the police state and the prison camps.
You know, that's interesting that you bring up the zombie thing, because if you know, going back to the conversation we had earlier about predictive programming, it's interesting that all these zombie movies, especially within the past, like, let's say, like 10 years, you know, constantly being put out, and it's always running around heavily armed, and all the zombies are everybody, you know, the teenager, the cheerleader, the old man next door, sometimes even a member of the party that you're the escape party, you know, gets bitten and turned into a zombie, and you know, a friend. And it's like you randomly have to kill any zombie. So it's interesting that you bring that up, because, you know, and Mark Passio here on Oracle has talked about this stuff before. I've had him on my show, and him and I have talked about how the predictive programming with the whole zombie thing, again, it's kind of how they look at the general public, is that they're all, you know, undead zombies. They're all brain dead and, you know, useless, just eaters. So it's interesting that you bring that up, because, you know, going back to the whole predictive programming, I just
kind of funny they call us useless eaters, but they give us useless food.
True, they give us useless GMO crap food with no nutrients in it whatsoever.
Yeah, it used to be the only thing in the grocery store that was any good was on the outside wall, you know, and now that's not even true. They put so much stuff in everything.
Yeah, fillers, nitrates, all that crap.
Oh my God, fluoride.
Yeah, fluoride's no good. I'm sure you've heard Bob Tuskin's video. He's played it here on his show before.
Yeah, what fluoride does is it puts a gooey film over your what's the thing in the middle?
the pineal gland. Yeah, it calcifies it.
Yeah. There you go. So that's
but from what I understand now, it also calcifies other things.
Yeah.
It calcifies, and it makes these calcium deposits other places in the body.
Well,
so,
of course. Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen to the people, dude. Again, going back to Tuskin's video, when he said to the guy, he said, you know, I'm just trying to give out information about fluoride toothpaste, and the guy's like, I eat
fluoride. Oh man, I be eating fluoride by the tube.
Yeah, he's like, I just got a tube for Halloween. I eat toothpaste, and he couldn't even say toothpaste. It was toothpaste.
What's wrong with that? When you hungry, get some toothpaste.
Well, that's what we're in for, I think. Is that what you're saying, Doc?
It says right on the tube of toothpaste, if swallowed, call the hospital.
Yeah, call poison control.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Doc, we're out of time. We only got a few minutes left, and I gotta get to the last caller here. So if you want, you can hang out until the end of the show. But I gotta bring up John in San Diego here. He's been ever patiently waiting here. So let me bring him up here really quick.
Enjoy
John,
the show.
Are you there?
Hey, it's John.
Hey, how's it going, buddy?
Good. Yeah, you brought up these health topics, and this is an area I'm really interested in. I've been using some of Mike Anthony's products recently, and I mean, I feel a lot better. I've been drinking the dragon juice, and you know, I used to have to use Viagra for a while, and I don't anymore. I think the dragon juice is kind of taking care of that, but I was looking for a solution. Right now, I want to prepare myself for 2012, you know, for the changes that are going to be happening in, like, December 21st or whatnot, and right now I've got a dirty Naburu, and I was...
Yeah, he's just a troll, so... He got muted. Rather than hang up on them, I like to leave them muted so that they can hear me talking, but they can't respond. It's torture for them. Doc, thanks for hanging out today.
Thanks for the call.
Hey, my
guys.
pleasure.
Yeah, man, it was a really great phone call, and you brought up a lot of good points, man. And that Friskies video was really creepy.
Yeah, it is.
The cat's going through Alice in Wonderland's little mirror. And by the way,
out, dude. It's far out.
By the way, I kind of figured the guy was a troll. That's why I waited till the last minute, like the last 2 minutes of the show to bring him on, because I figured I'd give him his, noose, and he put his head right in it and jumped off. So, you know how it works. You can't.
I feel sorry for those guys.
They'd rather screw around and waste time than educate themselves. That's all right. They're going to be part of those brain dead zombies that you were talking about.
Exactly. They're already halfway there.
I agree. Doc, again, great call. Thanks for calling in.
No problem. Enjoyed it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sitting down with me and JJ while we covered for Jimmy X. It's always a pleasure. JJ will be on live right now if you want to go listen to him, or you can go listen to his rebroadcast later on in his archive.
But up next here on Oracle is Hal Anthony.
10-4. Thanks, everybody, for calling in. Nice try, troll, but...
Introducing the world...